Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me? Is this for, okay. So, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Victor Gordo. I have the tremendous honor and privilege of serving as mayor of Pasadena. And today is an exciting day. First, I'd like to begin by, if she's here, thanking Cynthia Kurtz for jumping in to help the city during one of its most difficult times. In the middle of a crisis, in the middle of a crisis that involved not only an economic downturn, but the most difficult health crisis that we faced as a people, and hopefully the most difficult time we will ever face. We don't want to repeat that again. And so I'd like to thank Cynthia and all of the city staff who supported residents of Pasadena during this difficult time. I won't go around and thank everyone individually, but just know that our city staff did a tremendous job, and I personally am grateful for their work. But we're here today to introduce Miguel Márquez, Justice Márquez, as the next city manager of Pasadena. I tell people that there is no greater job and responsibility than serving as city manager of Pasadena, because you're responsible for the day-to-day operations of a very complex city. It's not an easy job. You have to balance members of the city council like Vice Mayor Wilson and myself. And Councilmember Steve Madison. Never know when the other guys show up. So, you know, it's a complex city. It's a world-class city. Not many cities the size of Pasadena can claim a world stage. Not many cities the size of Pasadena command the attention that Pasadena receives, because we are a very complex city with our own convention center, stadium, police department, health department. We're a full service operation here. And so it requires someone with the talent, the demeanor, the insight, and the thoughtfulness that Miguel Márquez brings to the job. And so prior to coming to the city of Pasadena, Justice Márquez was a member of the appellate court for California. He was also a city attorney in the city of San Francisco, was involved in education as an attorney, so understands the need for a robust public education system. And now he heads up operations at the County of Santa Clara. That includes a health department, that includes policing issues, that includes the whole myriad of issues that we deal with here in Pasadena. And so as we interviewed, and we did interview some very top-notch candidates, as we interviewed those candidates, we quickly realized that we had someone on our hands that is very talented, that brings the humble approach, the calm demeanor, the insight and intellect that will allow him to work in every part of Pasadena and with the different institutions in Pasadena that are world-class. And of course, with the very diverse population that makes up our great city. And so it's my honor and privilege to introduce our next city manager, Justice Miguel Márquez.
Let me start by thanking Mayor Gordo, Vice Mayor Wilson, Councilmember Madison, and the other council members for giving me this tremendous opportunity to serve as your next city manager. I am very excited to be here, and I am very eager to start the work just as soon as I can responsibly transfer and transition all the work I have up in Santa Clara County. So I'm eager to work with so many people. I'm eager to work with our elected officials, partnering closely with the mayor and the city council, as well as other local leaders here in the community. I'm eager to work with more than 2,000 fellow public servants that I will have the privilege of leading in this important work. I'm eager to partner with the County of Los Angeles, which provides safety net services for those most in need in our community. I'm excited to work with our state and federal partners who provide various forms of funding to move the work forward. I'm very excited to work and eager to work with our community-based providers I understand we are blessed to have hundreds of community-based providers in this amazing city. I'm very excited to work with our labor partners, with whom I will work to promote and advance the important work that we all do for the community. I'm eager to work with our business partners, who have so deftly navigated this pandemic and whose business and to success is vital to the city's economic stability and its fortitude. Also eager to work with our schools, whose success paves the way for the next generation. And finally, I'm eager to work with all of you, the press. I've been so impressed by the local media that reports on so many important local issues and does it so well and does it so regularly. Most of all, I'm eager to work with members of the community, the 140,000 of us who call Pasadena home. I look forward to meeting and speaking with as many of you as possible over the coming years, listening and learning with humility to inform the work that I will do as your city manager. Like any place in America today, frankly, any place in the world, Pasadena is facing challenges. I look forward to taking on and resolving those challenges with you, together building a more just and a more inclusive community as each day passes. A community in which everyone feels deeply in their core that they belong. A community that truly cares for one another. Pasadena, with its amazing diversity, its sophistication, its charm, its style, its resources, its people. There's no limit to what we can and what we will accomplish together. Again, I am very eager to get started and will be here in just 7 weeks. But I want to close by giving special thanks first to Interim City Manager Cynthia Kurtz, who's been holding down the fort and will continue to hold down the fort for the next 7 weeks. Thank you, Cynthia, very much appreciated. I also want to thank city staff throughout the city organization as they await my arrival, especially those who have been serving in interim roles. Your willingness to step up and serve is admirable, and it's what makes Pasadena special. The outpouring of well wishes and support that I've received since the appointment was first announced about a week and a half ago has been incredible. The common theme in all the messages has been just how special Pasadena really is. Everybody says, it's my favorite place to be. I recognize how lucky I am to be here with all of you. So I'll be back in 7 weeks to begin this new chapter in my own life's journey, but more importantly, to begin a new chapter in Pasadena's long and storied history. A new chapter that will be written with all of you. I can't wait to turn the page. Thank you.
Let me just give the Vice Mayor and Councilmember Madison just a brief opportunity to say hello, and I'd like to thank them for, Pasadena and our City Council's a real team effort, and certainly Vice Mayor Wilson and Councilmember Madison are big-time players on that team, and so I appreciate their efforts.
Thank you, Mayor Gordo and Miguel. Welcome to Pasadena. I had the privilege of not just being involved as a council member in the selection process, but the mayor and I had the task of closing the deal. And needless to say, that's a lot of responsibility because he was our clear first choice. And I hope the more you learn about him, you can see how enthusiastic we are. And I know he's excited to come to Pasadena. I think I guaranteed you, like me, you would fall in love with Pasadena. So I need all your help to make sure he loves Pasadena as much as we do. We're thrilled to have you here. Thank you for coming down to provide leadership. And I know we all look forward to working with you. So welcome.
Thank you. I just wanted to echo what the mayor and the vice mayor said. I think Miguel Márquez is a terrific choice to be the new CEO of a municipal services organization with a total budget of almost $1 billion, over 2,000 employees, a football stadium, a water and power, and all the other great amenities that we have here. I would say just 3 quick things. One is I grew up in San Jose, and I went to Santa Clara University, so I know Santa Clara County very well. It is a complex, diverse community with a terrific economy and you know, a very tolerant, progressive place, just like Pasadena. So the skills that Miguel has developed as the chief operating officer of that, you know, huge county, it's probably bigger than some nations for sure, will serve him well as we tackle the challenges and the opportunities before us, including the repatriation, the relinquishment by the state of the 710 freeway stub, the challenges that the Rose Bowl has now being a Big Ten football stadium, and all the other challenges that we have. Second thing is, as a lawyer and a former justice of the California Court of Appeal, you know, increasingly, and our great city attorney, Michelle Bonaris, I know could echo this, you know, things are increasingly legalistic. We have complex challenges facing us financially, legally, public policy-wise. So those skills will really serve him well. And as a fellow attorney, I'm proud to see someone whose, you know, resume is a case study in public service. It really is. And finally, I'm super proud that as at least a plurality Latino community, and probably rapidly approaching a majority Latino community, we have a city manager who's the son of immigrants, and Spanish was his first language. You know, he represents everything that's great about our country and our state, and will be a great representative for the community. So welcome, Miguel. We're super excited. Thank you so much. Thank you.
We've just been joined by Councilmember Felicia Williams, and I'd like to thank her for being here today. Why don't we go ahead and take some questions, if there are questions?
Thank you, and very nice to meet you. So many things attracted me. So I have familiarity with, and maybe I'll make a little bit of a joke about this. I did my undergraduate work at Stanford. Probably 6, 7, 8 years ago, Stanford had a decent football team, and we used to come to the Rose Bowl. Yeah, a little bit longer maybe, so. But that said, I used to come and visit on January 1st to attend Rose Bowl events and saw the city and was always incredibly impressed. And I've always been someone who came down because I have very extended family, a lot of extended family down here in Los Angeles. I spent a lot of time down here, so I was always familiar with Pasadena. When the opportunity arose and I started looking into it, I started looking at the mayor and his background and the city council members and their background. Ultimately, it's a question of, do my values align with theirs? Right? The job of city managers is to implement council policy. And that's really difficult to do if you don't have alignment in values. So apart from everything else everyone has said, at its core is the consistency, the alignment of values between myself and this council and mayor. And I have yet to really get to meet the senior staff, but I'm hopeful and I believe that we will also have value alignment there. So that's, apart from everything else Pasadena has to offer, that's really what it was. Thank you.
So the question for me is how many, we had over 60 applicants if my memory is correct. And I initially appointed a subset of the council, 4 members of the council, to go through the resumes and then present those resumes to, or narrow it down, present resumes to another four members of the council who then narrowed it down, and we presented, I think it was 10, was it 10 people that were interviewed? Yeah, as part of the interview process. And, you know, as Miguel points out, you know, we have a very talented city staff. And as we were going through the city process, one of the things that was important to the council is to have someone who recognizes that our city staff does a tremendous job, would be aligned with the core values of the city and its residents, but also with the core values of our city staff that is here today doing a great job. And so that really lifted Miguel to the top of the line. We could see that he was aligned with the city's values, with our values as council members, and also with the city staff and resident values.
I think there's more than one issue. You know, there are certainly some issues that are need attention sooner rather than later, say the Rose Bowl and the financial situation that it finds itself, largely due to the pandemic. I believe I still have to look into it, but I think you know, dollars coming back and forth quickly is something you need to get your attention on right away. And then I also learned quite a bit about the events that happened in 2020 involving the police department and all of the press that I was able to see about that. And, you know, and I look at that and I look at Pasadena and how special we are. And I'm going to start using the word we. It's going to be 7 weeks before I come here, but I am part of this community. And I think we can build and really learn and listen to one another respectfully, with humility, and try and improve on all the things that involve community policing, things of that nature, so we can build one Pasadena where everybody, as I said, feels incredibly comfortable to belong, to be themselves, and you know, putting public safety at the core. That has to be the core mission of what a police department does, of what a city offers to the residents that it's in charge of caring for. But doing so in a way that I understand there is I think it's I don't know the exact name, but a commission or a group of folk who are just now restarting the oversight. And I look forward to talking with them, to working with them, doing what I have to do on my part to help look into those issues and bring us to a place that we all want to be. Absolutely. I will be, I'm looking for a place now. It's not been easy, but I will make that happen, and I will be here in 7 weeks living in Pasadena, where I plan to live and work for the rest of my career, for sure, if not the rest of my life. That's a very good question. I've actually thought about that, and I thought, you know, it's not just Santa... Yeah, let me repeat the question, at least as I heard it. How would I plan to take what I learned in Santa Clara and apply those lessons here in Pasadena? I thought about that because it's not just Santa Clara. I've also have experience working in County of San Mateo, which is the county just north of Santa Clara, and the city and county of San Francisco. And so I've just been in local government for a long, long time. And I've seen so many different things. So I don't know that I can give you a particular answer and say, here's the list of 10 lessons to apply. But I think it's the life experience. You know, much of that time I was a lawyer for the cities and the counties that I worked for. But always when you're a lawyer, you are part of the executive team. You're part of, I think, our city attorney can tell you, you're right there in the room working through problems, being a problem solver, learning different ways to come at the same problem. So I plan to, more than anything, as a matter of process, listen carefully to those who have been working on the problems, bring what I can bring from my past experience, and sort of get everyone to have concurrence on a path forward, keeping the city council apprised, making sure we're in alignment with the policy vision that they have. I think, you know, it's sort of the same tried and true formula, but if you really implement that as a process, you'll see success. As I heard it, you had asked, everybody seems to know the city of Pasadena. How did it meet my expectations when I came here? It's a very good question. As I said earlier, I have some experience at the Rose Bowl, so sort of limited. For the interview process, they did have us come down for 2 days. And I spent the time, put up at a hotel here, but I spent most of the time wandering around, looking around, driving around, meeting people, and it met every last one of my expectations. You know, I came in part to interview the city as well, to be quite honest, and walked away being so impressed. I remember going to Baja Supermarket, which is, I don't know exactly where it is, but I ran into it. And I just saw so many nice people. I saw diversity in that Latino supermarket. I saw an African-American gentleman speaking Spanish, and the Latinos who were there saying, hey, he speaks Spanish, habla español. And it was just such a beautiful thing to witness. And I said, this place is special. I think later as we were talking, Vice Mayor Wilson mentioned that he had the role of trying to work with me to come here ultimately. And he said, diversity is our superpower. That really resonated with me because I think it really is. So absolutely knocked it out of the park. The interview that the city had with me, 10 out of 10.
I'd like to thank all of you and my colleagues, and again, thank Cynthia Kurtz for jumping in and helping us, all of the city staff for all of your hard work. And it's our honor and pleasure collectively to welcome Miguel Márquez as the next city manager of the center of the universe. So you'll have to keep that in mind. So thank you everyone, and congratulations.